Good afternoon. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. As you have seen in the agenda, we actually have a public hearing that starts at 1:30, which is now, on the year 2050 Regional Mobility Plan. We're going to do a roll call.
Commissioner Lori Cox. Commissioner Evelyn Riley Goldwire.
Yes.
Commissioner Messersmith. Commissioner O'Keefe.
Here.
Commissioner Maddox. Commissioner Minor.
Here.
Commissioner Matlow. Commissioner Richardson.
Here.
And Commissioner Williams Cox.
Here. Thank you. We'll move right on to the presentation on the year 2050 Regional Mobility Plan. Executive Director.
They mentioned too, make sure everybody speak close to your mic.
Yeah, I'm
so
on
everybody
top of
can hear and
mine.
we can pick it up on the TV. So Jack Kasura was our project manager, so I'm going to hand this off to Jack and let him do the introduction.
Catch Jack.
Thanks. So welcome to the 2050 Long Range Transportation Plan, Regional Mobility Plan adoption. Just a few notes, and then I'll turn this over to Franco. We have been working on this for about 16 months, moving forward with identifying projects, revenues, costs for these projects. We approved the draft. You approved the draft in September. We went out to the public in October for a couple virtual meetings, had some really good attendance, and I think there's a slide of the concept board in the presentation.
I believe so.
Okay. If there's not, we'll find one and we'll send it to you. But it was a really good application. It was interesting that gave people the opportunity to comment on any projects or anything that they wanted to. And so we've encapsulated that in one of the attachments, actually in attachment 1, you'll find the comments that we had and the responses. Some of the responses had to come afterwards because we couldn't answer those questions right then and there. So you'll see those as part of the agenda item. Since September, there have been a couple changes. We did bring you towards the Crawfordville Road construction that we received from L.L. Wallace Road to Wakulla Springs Road, and that's, again, $16 million in 2028. So that'll be moving forward with construction. Then we also did receive funding for the Wakulla Springs Trail, which is from Wakulla Springs State Park to the St. Mark's Trail, and that's scheduled for 2031 at about $9.5 million. I would expect that some of these costs may change by the time we get to there. They could be lower, for all we know, because they're lower than we were anticipating in the first place. There have also been some changes that were brought forward from the executive summary that was in the agenda item. There's a couple misidentified operations and bike and ped logos that are switched around on page 29, which we've addressed. I just wanted to kind of get all the comments before we started making changes. And then again, the symbol should be changed on those, and that's on page 29. So in terms of kind of looking at the projects, there's a cost feasible plan scenario that we've selected, which would be identification of right-of-way and moving forward with right-of-way on 4 different projects. And that comes as a kind of a shock to everybody, including anybody who's worked on long-range plans before, because we've typically gone through the process of identifying whole projects and moving forward. But what this does is this prepares these projects for construction when those funds come through, and it also won't require amending to the long-range plan when we get construction for these projects. And again, we'll be also able to readdress these in about 4 years' time as that process begins again with the long-range plan. So we'll be able to, as this process moves forward, maybe we'll get more revenue, hopefully. We'll be able to move forward with that. And again, the Crawfordville Road project, the L.L. Wallace to Wakulla Springs, is a perfect example. Is when we got through, we had design done, we finished identifying the right-of-way, and the DOT funded the right-of-way, and they saw an opportunity. They had some funds for construction, and they came to us and said, hey, listen, we got some money. Can we program this? We said, oh, sure, we'll take that money any day. So that's how that works. You have these projects ready for right-of-way phases. You get the right-of-way phase, and the money comes to those projects. So that's kind of where we're landing. It's kind of like the perfect storm with that project, perfect timing for us is this process, because otherwise it would have been in this plan as well. as part of the cost feasible plan for looking at funding in the outer years. So with that, I will have Franco from Kittleson Associates kind of walk you through the process of where we've been, and if I covered too much of it right now, you can say it again. Move that thing closer.
Sounds good. Good afternoon, everyone. Franco Saracino with Kittleson and Associates. We're excited to be at the end of this journey. As Jack mentioned, this has been a pretty long process, about 16 months. So I thought I'd start with a quick refresher on what it is that we're doing. What is the RMP? As a reminder, so of course it's a 25-year plan, a long-range plan that is a federal requirement that all MPOs adopt and update at least once every 5 years. So this plan is due to be adopted no later than next week, actually. Lots of other federal requirements associated with the LRTP update or the RMP update. I've listed a few of them on this slide. First of all, public involvement. It needs to be a robust process, inclusive process to coordinate with the communities, give them an opportunity to provide their input and shape the plan. Second, cost affordability. This is the real tough one. We have to show a cost-revenue balanced program of projects that are included in our cost feasible plan. And then finally, we need to incorporate federal national goals that are in statute. And the goals really are an important part of guiding how the plan comes together. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. We spent quite a bit of time at the beginning of the project figuring out the goals, figuring out the objectives under each goal, the measures that we would use to assess the network based on these goals. And we've talked pretty extensively with this board about that. But just wanted to kind of refresh. We have 9 goals: safety, connectivity, access to tourist destinations, multiple travel options, so on and so on. And the way that these goals were operationalized is that we developed a set of performance criteria. We assessed the network. It really is a data-driven process that is behind this plan that hopefully will carry forward into future updates and potentially other planning efforts. So quick timeline of the process. Like Jack mentioned, we started in the summer of last year. The first step was to establish those goals and objectives. We did go out to the public with the goals and objectives, and if you'll remember, we asked them to tell us how important each goal is relative to the other goals. And again, to really have a thoughtful technical process in how we operationalize those goals. Then in the spring of this year, we developed a set of candidate improvements for the cost feasible plan, the needs plan. Went back to the public at that point to share projects with the public and get their input on those. Then finally, this summer, we prioritized improvements and developed a draft cost feasible plan. We then went again back out to the public with that draft plan. Jack mentioned, unfortunately, I don't have a slide of concept board, but basically it's an interactive online tool that enables people to interact with all of the material. We used it in workshops to present the material and then opened it up for people to add notes and interact with it. It was open for several weeks after that, so we got some good input that Jack mentioned is shared in an appendix. Which brings us to today, to adopt the plan after all of that technical work and public engagement. As part, the results of all of that engagement, we did do 6 community events in the beginning and sort of middle of the process. We went to farmers markets, a variety of different types of events across the region. We do have a project website, and we had almost 5,000 users of the website over the last 16 months, which I think is great. We did 2 online surveys, one at the goals phase of the project, one at the needs assessment phase, and we had almost 1,500 completed surveys. So we heard from quite a few people in that medium. Also used social media, had over 200,000 Facebook impressions, which is great, 182 social media likes, And then in that last set of workshops, we had about 30 comments. I wish we had more, but I think in aggregate, all of the engagement that we did from the beginning sort of built up to that point. And so by that point, really, you should be doing what you learned throughout the process. So I think it was a very successful public engagement campaign. The challenge, of course, as I mentioned, is cost feasibility, especially today when revenues are down and costs are up. So we developed this graphic just to sort of illustrate the point of how difficult this is. If we add the costs of the top 5 or 5 of the top priority projects that have been established by this board, the cost is about $400 million, a little over $400 million. If we take the revenues that are net of the revenues that we set aside for ped bike, operational improvements, and other types of improvements, just capacity dollars, we only have $100 million. So that's 25% of just those 5 priority projects. I think it's important to sort of have the context of just how dire the financial picture is, but not to paint too negative a picture, because as Jack mentioned, in 5 years, we'll revisit this, we'll have new revenue numbers, new cost numbers, and the picture could look very different, as it is different this time relative to 5 years ago. So the way that the cost feasible plan is put together, as I mentioned, we set aside funds for a variety of non-roadway capacity improvement types. This is a very common thing done in long-range planning. It's sort of a way to keep the dollars flexible. We don't necessarily have a list of bike ped projects. That's more to be responsive to local needs. We also don't have a list of technology projects, but the idea being, let's set aside these funds as projects are brought to the table. Those funds, by virtue of this set aside of these funds, they are cost feasible to advance without having to do an LRTP amendment. So 159 million is what we have for roadway capacity projects. That is equivalent to the 107 million on the previous slide. The reason they're different is in order to compare to costs, we had to deflate the numbers down to present day dollars. This is actual year of expenditure dollars. 159 million is, the portion of the money in 2040 to 2050 is twice the value of the money that it is today. So 159 in year of expenditure dollars. 59 million for operational improvements, ITS, other technologies, signals, and so forth. 41 million for sidewalks, bike lanes, and trails. 28 million for safety-focused improvements. We also included the 73 million that is state federal dollars dedicated to public transit. These aren't dollars that we have the flexibility to reallocate, but we thought it was important to include for reference. This doesn't include the 15 to 20 million of local funds that Star Metro puts towards operation of transit. And that 73 million really is going to pay for operating the existing system. So no new transit projects. That brings us to the projects. These should be no surprise. These are the same projects that we presented in the first draft 2 months ago. They include 4 projects that are funded in the first 5 years, and these are projects that are already programmed in the years 26 to 2030. Crawfordville from L.A. Wallace to Wakulla Springs, funded through construction, as Jack mentioned. The other segment to the south, Wakulla County line to L.A. Wallace, is funded for right-of-way in that first 5 years. Capitol Circle Northwest, we have the PD&E study is funded to determine what the improvements ought to be on that segment. And then Capitol Circle Southwest, as you know, from Spring Hill Road to Crawfordville is funded through construction. In the outer years, we have those other priority projects, Woodville from Paul Russell to Capitol Circle. And these 4 projects, again, are only funded through construction. As Jack mentioned, and as we've talked about, through right-of-way. Thank you.
I was gonna say,
I said the opposite.
we need
of what I
anything
meant.
beyond construction?
Right, sorry about that.
Kind of money over there.
And the idea being that if we wanted to fund projects through construction, we would have one project. Maybe one, maybe one and a half. So the idea being to spread the wealth, to sort of make more projects eligible to receive federal funding over the next 5 years until we do the next plan update. And so, again, right-of-way funded for those 4 projects, Woodville, Orange, Pensacola, and that south segment of Crawfordville Road. Also included in the cost feasible plan by reference is the projects on I-10. These are projects that are not funded with the funds that I presented. SIS, Strategic Intermodal System funding, is a separate pot of money that FDOT puts towards the SIS. And so we have 2 SIS projects, one Capital Circle to Gamble, funded through construction in the outer years, and then from US 90 to Capital Circle Northwest on the other side, funded for design. We've also included other projects. This is sort of an other category because these are projects that are funded and sort of moving forward along different paths. And that includes the Sun Trail projects and the Blueprint projects. These are not necessarily, with the exception of the Wakulla Springs Trail project, not necessarily cost feasible. They are included in the interest of being comprehensive and truly having a systems plan. But Blueprint projects, as you know, are advanced through different means in a different process. But we did include them for reference here on this slide. So that is all I have. That is the cost feasible plan. Happy to take any questions.
Just one clarification on the SIS projects. The construction phase that we do have is for the segment that goes from Capitol Circle Northeast to Centerville Road. That's as far as it gets, and I want to say that was in the outer years of the plan. Go back. All right. Anyway, it's in the outer years for construction in the SIS plan. So just to kind of clarify that it doesn't go all the way to Gamble in Jefferson County.
Thank you, Jack. Yeah, that I misspoke on that. The other design and right-of-way are funded for the whole thing, but then, yeah, just that one segment for construction.
That's pretend it's up there. It's in the outer years.
We take your word for it.
Thank you.
All right.
And actually, if you do want to see that map, it is that project specifically. Let me look real quick on here. Should be in the attachments on the project maps under attachment 3. I'll look it up and you all can converse.
Thank you. Jack, you're talking about the last, when it was funded, was in the last band, the 41 to.
Yeah, it's 41 to 2050.
Yes, sir.
Quick question. Which segment of Orange Avenue? I couldn't see the table up there.
For the right-of-way segment, it would be from Cypress Lake Street all the way to Monroe.
Okay.
We're not anticipating a lot of right-of-way needed between
One-ish.
Wanish and, kind of remember the name of that Wanish Street now, Wanish to Monroe, because it's already a 4-lane section.
Right.
But there will be amenities included and configured to meet the demands of the design coming out from Wanish to Cypress Lake.
Althea Gibson,
Out there, yeah.
Gibson Way.
Althea Gibson, thank you.
That's the new name.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you for that very robust presentation. And it is a public hearing, and we will move on to public comment.
Yes.
If, unless there's any reason not to, we do have one speaker. I have listed here, Ms. Eleanor Ainage. Can you come to the microphone? Okay, and state your name and address for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Um, hello. Hello. My name's Eleanor Harnage. I rent at 911 Dolores Drive. I was part of, I can't remember what date it was on, one of the virtual meetings, submitted some of my questions on that little board that you guys had. And I did feel a little bit like sort of, a skunk at the garden party, because I was asking questions mostly about affordability and sort of like evidence-based planning. Because I asked after you guys presented that slide where you're like, okay, we only have 25% of the funding that we need for these projects. My question was, why are we building things that we can't afford, right? I'm not an expert. I'm not a urban planner or anything like that, or an elected official, of course. So I'm going to back up and assume that you guys, this isn't a question and answer. Are you guys allowed to respond, or am I just going to keep the
You have 3 minutes to say whatever you need to say, and then we'll go into our discussion.
Okay.
And in the discussion, there could be an opportunity for you to receive an answer.
Okay. So yeah, that was my first question is, we're talking about affordability, right? We all know that roads need to be repaved, right? So it's just like interesting that we're having all of these cost feasibility studies. You already say that you can't afford it, or that we can't afford it, right? We only have 25% of the funding. But also, like, what happens 30 years from now when all of those streets that we're getting funding to build have to be repaved? Like, we're going to have to go back and beg again for funding to maintain the roads that we've already built, that you already said that we can't afford, right? So that was one thing that I was wondering. I also asked you guys at the public meeting, do you have any local examples of, let me back up a little bit. So you said that basically 50% of the funding that we're talking about is going towards adding lanes. My first question is, when you did the public surveys about like what people wanted to prioritize, how many people said, I really, really want to add more lanes? Like, what percentage of the people was like, no, it's not safety, no, it's not pedestrian access, no, it's not economic vitality, it's I want more lanes? And if it was 50% of the people, I'm like, okay, cool, like 50% of funding towards adding lanes, but otherwise it seems a little bit unbalanced. And then I also asked you guys if you had any local examples of road widening or lane adding projects that managed to actually mitigate congestion for more than like a couple years. Like, do you have any local examples of, okay, this road was 2 lanes or 1 lane, we added a lane, and now 10 years later, the congestion is so much better. Like, it actually worked, right? Because in most cases, we know that adding a lane
Thank you.
congestion worse, right?
Thank you. Your 3 minutes are up.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And I only have a speaker card from her. If there's anyone else who would like to have an opportunity for 3 minutes to speak, you can also complete a speaker card from in the back and come forward. Okay, we'll now go to committee board discussion. Vice Chair,
Thank you, Madam Chair. First things first.
who your mic closer?
Thank you. First things first, do we need a motion for this?
We will need to vote on this, and it will be a roll call vote
Are you ready for that? In the right order?
with the will of the board.
I move approval.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and second.
Madam Chair, if I may provide.
Yes.
First of all, to the young lady, thank you. Thank you for coming to those meetings and taking part in the process. There's no such thing as a bad question. There's no such thing as a dumb question.
Except the ones you don't ask.
Except the ones you don't ask. The fact that you came here and had the wherewithal to ask the question and become knowledgeable about the process says a lot about who you are and what you are to this community. So I don't want you to leave here without getting those questions asked and being informed. So when you talk about the affordability piece of it, I would say in my years of being here, what I found is that transportation is a very long-range planning type of thing. And nothing really ever gets paid for up front. It's pieced together over years. And so whereas roadways being repaved and stuff like that falls into the capital improvement plans of, let's say, a city or a county, or even the state in some ways. These larger projects, and this group in particular, the CRTPA, is a planning organization. So we don't really implement any plan. We don't do the actual paving of plans. We actually create long-range plans for the transportation systems within Leon County and the surrounding areas. Or how much we pay now and what we plan to do 10 years from now, and how a project might be in 20 years, because that's just part of the. So capital improvement plans of all the organizations and cities and counties that are within this group, along with what the state may have planned long range, and then we try to put that into a plan that we govern as a group and try to implement over years. And so it's not an idea of affordability as much as it is preparing long term for issues that may come about concerning transportation. So I hope that answers that. Does that kind of answer the question about the affordability piece of it? It's not that it's not affordable, it's that it was never meant to be paid for all up front. The fact that we got 50% of the planning, 50% of the money now, good, the state's going to give us 50% of the money, we'll put that forward, we'll wait for the state to give us the rest of it. Or we'll leverage some of our local dollars to build out the rest of it. These plans, some 45, 50 million, $100 million plans, no municipality will ever have that kind of money to throw into a plan immediately. So these are long-range, long-term plans. It's almost like you're planning to buy a car. You're doing it the right way. You don't want to take that loan. You'll maybe ride a bus until you get to about 20 grand. And you save it over time, but you're putting back $5 every month, or whatever may have you. But when you get that money, you go buy that car. It's the same thing here. We're putting that money into use, the planning piece of it. So then long range, because it has to have PD&E and all that kind of stuff that goes in before it. When it comes to us actually being able to put that shovel in the ground, this organization has done all the planning so that shovel can go in the ground, and we can use our county, city, state dollars to actually build the roadways that we're trying to build out. So that's the one thing I wanted to, your first question. The second question, I don't like to make my opinion facts. So I would ask staff if we have any examples that the young lady has asked for, that we would be able to maybe send that to her. Maybe if you provide us your email or something like that, we can send you those examples of ways that widening roadways has helped with congestion. It's a natural thing over time as population grows. You would imagine that a city, county gets more congested, and roadways that were originally meant to be a two-way because of the growth become four-way. Blairstone would be a perfect example. That was
Thomasville Road as
Yeah,
well.
Thomasville Road, Blairstone. There was a time when I think Scott Maddox, way back in the day, was on the board, and he was talking about widening. You remember it, Curtis? He was talking about riding Blairstone. Everybody looked at him like he was crazy. Yeah. And now Blairstone is a stairway that everybody takes all day, every day to get from one side of town to the other. There's examples like that, but I'll leave staff to speak more intelligently about that. Your third question was about, what was the third question? So my final answer to that question is the plans that are being implemented today and executed today, and the ground is turning today that you see, were plans that were made 15 to 20 years ago. That's just the way, that's the nature of what transportation is. There's now the repaving and stuff like that the county may see, or the city may see, or respective counties or cities that are part of this group may see, that we can get to immediately. We get to those problems. But transportation in nature is a long-range planning type of deal. And sometimes we don't always get it. What the group 20 years ago might not have gotten it right. But throughout those 20 years, there's other groups that are here that sit down and they look at those plans and they make adjustments to those plans based off of what's going on currently. And so we can talk about the things that I will ask staff, if you provide your email, to send the kind of list of things that we're actively doing now, this past the PD&E and all that kind of stuff, and that we're actually starting to build now, kind of like airport gateway and all that kind of stuff. So she will have the information. Board, I think what we saw today, the most impressive part of what I saw today was this plan is amazing. But to have that young lady come here to ask those questions, to be educated about the process, and to try to understand how transportation works, how the planning system works of transportation, was the most impressive thing I've seen all day. I mean, that young lady came here and asked us those questions. So I wanted to take the time to actually answer her questions and try to give her my take on what I thought transportation was. I want to thank the group. We had the public hearings that she could come to. And I would ask that the patience that we've shown as a board to answer her questions, that staff continue to be that patient with our constituents. I learned a long time ago when I was elected that we have these jobs to know more than the average citizen knows, because they don't have the time to learn as much as we learn about the process. And so when they have those questions that seem elementary to us and like they should just be understood, we don't take for granted that this stuff isn't hard. I would venture to say she asked a very good question. Why are we spending $50 million on a PD&E or $5 million on a PD&E when she got potholes right there in front of her house? Well, somebody sit down and tell her, well, that's not the kind of organization we are. When we do long-range planning, you go to your city or county to have that conversation and see if they can implement that stuff. Would be the right way to go. And so I didn't want to take for granted the opportunity to answer her questions. And I would ask the staff and us as a board continue to be patient with our constituents when they have these types of questions. And I think we have a duty as much as we can to educate rather than be frustrated. So a great plan. I look forward to its implementation. As I just told her, we are predicting way out into the future into what we may need. As you all know, these plans, these are living documents, so they may change over time, but I think we have a good handle on where we're going. And of course, the priorities change year by year. I'm sure there's some things we like to see ahead of others. But all in all, I think given what we have and the money that's coming down from the state, and I think this is a good plan to execute to get us ready for the future. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Vice Chair, and dare I say it, the Dean of the CRTPA, because you just took all of us to school. So thank you very much for your very thorough answer. Commissioner O'Keefe and then Commissioner Minor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you for the good questions. I'd like to ask staff if they can kind of confirm my understanding. The way I picture this is we are voting on our plan right now. That's a broad plan up until 2050. And that is what we're talking about now. And when the question comes in, that's what we're talking about this meeting right now. When the question comes in, well, what are we doing now? What I look at is in our agenda for the meeting under 8A, the 2027 to 2031 tentative work program, that is what we're doing now. And those are the things that were guided by the regional mobility plan that we did a decade or 15 years ago. Is that understanding correct?
That's exactly right. The one thing I will add to that is, if you recall, the long-range plan, the RMP, is kind of the cornerstone of everything we do. Our annual priority process that we go through, prioritizing these projects, feed into the work program, which is what you'll see the presentation on today. So the RMP is that 25-year picture. The annual priority process is that prioritization of these projects. The work program is the implementation of those projects.
Okay. And so for anyone wanting to look at that, in the agenda materials for the meeting, which follows the public hearing, item 8A has a long list of projects that are in the works now for the next 5 years. And they include safety updates, including bike path, trails, sidewalks. It includes a significant amount of resurfacing. It includes some technology and traffic signal updates. It includes bridge rehabilitation. And those are, I think, those core things to answer the question, what are we doing to maintain what we have? And that the answer is that's not in the 20-year plan, that's in the 5-year work plan. And then my understanding, kind of how I picture the plan, and to the very good question of why start studying a plan or put money for right-of-way if we know we don't have the construction money right now, is my understanding of the funding process is long-term, like Commissioner Maddox said and staff has said. And a lot of it, we don't get the final say in what the state and the feds choose to fund. And the type of roads or type of issues or locations that are the priorities of those administrations now are not the same 5 years from now and 10 years from now. And so by having a menu of plans ready to go for things we have priorities, we have a list that we can put in whatever year after year we're looking for funding, the state or the federal administration says, this is the type of thing we want, or this is the area we want. We can say, oh, yes, we have that, and that goes forward. Where if we only picked one, we sort of are hoping that they pick that priority. Is that good understanding?
That's good. The one thing I would say, the actual project selection is very much a local and state decision. The feds, by and large, don't get involved in the projects we select. And the district's been extremely good. I don't know, and in all the years I've been doing this, either in District 3 or in District 5, I've never had a district come in and try to force a project on us. Always been excellent partners in funding our priorities. As Commissioner Maddox mentioned, it's just a long process, and I'll use Woodville Highway as an example. I think the PD&E was done down to like in 2010. So we're 15 years removed for that, and we still don't have right-of-way. So most of these projects are a 25 to 30-year process from the initial planning to the time they actually get constructed on your large capacity projects.
On point of correction, I'm sorry. Through my training at the NPOAC, they can't. That's the power behind this board. They can't force anything on us. They have to listen. Well, they can choose not to fund it, but they can't force us to do anything.
Right. The one thing I want to mention, when it comes to maintenance, keep in mind, the long-range plan is more built around capacity improvements, expanding roadways, trails, things like that. One of the the caveats of a long-range plan is you're assuming that maintenance is already provided for. Because if you look at, especially with DOT, their first priority is system maintenance. So before they're going out and building new roads, they focus on resurfacing, as I think one of you mentioned. I think right now we've got about $300 million the next 5 years in just resurfacing. So that is always going to be the department's priority, is system preservation.
Excellent. And as an example, the Safe Street to Schools program, I don't need to be exact, but that's not always been a program. That's created some years ago?
It's been probably around 10 or 15 years. It's gone back and forth. It initially started as a federal program. The funding for that went away a few years ago, and to DOT's credit, they stepped up and have been providing the funding for that for the last few years.
And that's an example of sidewalks, and certain sidewalks have been a priority on our priority list.
Correct.
And we may not have had the funding when we made those plans to do all those sidewalks, but we knew what the priorities were. And when a new program was created 10, 15 years ago, like Safe Street to School, we were ready to say, oh, these match these priorities, let's apply and go for those. So it's a strategic where we think we can, so we're ready to respond to where the money comes. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Minor?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. First of all, I just wanted to say that Vice Chair Maddox's comments were outstanding. I said it much better than I could have. So thank you very much for what you said. As for Ms. Eleanor, I also want to thank her for coming in. And I hope she never feels like a skunk at a garden party. She should never feel that way. She and anyone else from the public can come to any of our meetings and ask any question, as Commissioner Maddox said. With that in mind, if you look at the public engagement that we had for the 2 virtual meetings, these are excellent questions from the public. They're engaged. They're asking about the projects. They're asking about projects that are not on our list. And then I want to credit staff and Mr. Branca for answering the questions. Thank you very much. The public engagement on this was really good. And then finally, I just want to commend the work of our CRTPA team and Mr. Bronca and his team for this. This is 16 months of really good work, and it shows. So thank you very much for your work. These are good projects. I wish we had more funding coming our way more quickly, as Ms. Eleanor and Vice Chair Maddox had said, but we'll see what the future holds for us, and should we get some funding streams coming in our way, we'll be ready. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, ready for the roll call vote?
Commissioner Goldwire,
Commissioner Goldwire? We're voting yes or no.
Yes.
Commissioner Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Keefe,
Yes.
Commissioner Maddox,
Yes.
Commissioner Minor, Commissioner Richardson,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams-Cox.
Yes. Okay, so
Unanimous
our
pass.
Close the public.
Our 2050 Regional Mobility Plan has been adopted by unanimous vote. I'm going to close the public hearing, but first I wanted to recognize, so they won't think that it's over and they can get up and leave. Wanted to recognize, we have students from Florida A&M University, my alma mater, who are here as a class project. We want to thank you all for being here as well. Hang tight, it's not over. The public hearing will be over, but we are going to go into our regular meeting, so. The public hearing is over. The regular meeting has started at 2:12 p.m. And we will follow our agenda as provided.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Yes, I'm trying to turn to my, roll call, please.
Commissioner Goldwire,
Here.
Commissioner Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Keefe,
Here.
Commissioner Maddox,
Me.
Commissioner Minor,
Here.
Commissioner Richardson,
Here.
and Commissioner Williams-Cox.
Here. Okay, Mr. Executive Director, do we have any agenda
I
modifications?
don't have a modification, just a correction. On the CIP amendments, we had to change one of the work program ID numbers or project numbers on that, so that's been handed out to you as an update. That was nothing significant other than that, the project ID number.
Okay, you all noticed the handout that was in front of you. Only thing that changed, I've been assured, is the project number. Changed, okay, all right. We'll now go into any public comment. Do we have any other speaker cards or any other public comment? All right, we'll move to our consent agenda.
Madam Chair, I move consent.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second to adopt our consent agenda. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you very much. And this is, we just approved, there have been no items pulled from the agenda, from the consent agenda. We will now move into our roll call vote agenda items. 7A is our fiscal year 2026 through 2030 Transportation Improvement Program Amendment.
Madam Chair, Ms. Lex is going to cover that for us.
All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity to present the work program changes that are going into our current TIP. FDOT has funded the ITS improvements for cabinet upgrades in both current year at $500,000 and in 2028, $300,000. Please note that that project number has been corrected, and it now is 447154-1. So the 3 is now a 4, and that has been corrected in all the resolution and the material. Our Unified Planning Work Program, at the budget, when it was approved in September, you approved $1 million of current funding that we had that we really were not going to be able to spend. We've moved that to next year. That's in the upcoming work program presentation. And therefore, we have our final budget for this year. We're amending our TIP to reflect those final numbers. And FDOT informed us that they have $200,000 in federal funding that they're spending on Bluntstown Highway for lighting improvements from Silver Lake Road to Anon Church Road. We know that those safety improvements are sorely needed, so we're very grateful for that. And then finally, through adding a safety project in Midway at a rail crossing, and they're upgrading the rail crossing. So I'm requesting a roll call vote for approval of these, and if you have any questions, just let me know.
I've,
We can do them all.
okay. We're gonna do them all at the same time?
I heard a motion. I didn't hear.
I heard a motion, I need a second. Okay, it's been properly moved and
Madam Chair.
second.
Suzanne, is that the project in Midway, is that where the apartment complex is, at Railroad Crossing? Do you know where the apartment complex?
No, because, not, I do not believe so. If you turn left and go on Dover Road, the
Yeah,
road that kind of angles, it's right on the other side of US 90 there on the left. So
Okay.
it's almost off of Dover Road as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, all in favor of the motion that's been, that was roll call, I'm sorry, I said it clearly. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Goldwire? Here.
Yes or no for vote?
Commissioner Messerschmidt?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Keefe?
Yes.
Commissioner Maddox?
Aye.
Commissioner Minor?
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson?
Yes.
And Commissioner Williams-Cox?
Yes. Okay, motion carried.
Thank you.
And we'll move on to the next agenda item.
Community Work Program.
Okay, I'm confused because I got so much stuff here.
Right.
Let me have, we'll move to the CRTPA action.
Yes, ma'am. The first item up is our, the tentative fiscal year 27 to 2031 work program. I'd first like to start off by introducing our new district secretary, Mr. Tim Smith. He took over Philip Keener, who retired a few months ago. This will be the first time I've ever had a district secretary that went to the same high school that I did.
Oh,
But as you see, he graduated several years before I did, despite his full appearance.
we got
I just
some-
want to take this opportunity to
we may have some
introduce-
stories that we may need to extract.
I want to know, does that give you any extra favor, though?
That's what I'm hoping.
Okay.
And then also Carla Hodges is here to actually present the work program.
Okay, Ms. Hodges?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carla Hodges, and I serve as District 3's Program Management Administrator. I want to thank you for the opportunity to present the projects in the Capital Region within the Florida Department of Transportation's District 3 Tentative Work Program for fiscal years 2027 through 2031. Thank you for your partnership with FDOT to enhance Northwest Florida's transportation network. Please note the information shared today is of the tentative work program, and programming is subject to change. District 3 is made up of 16 counties and covers approximately over 11,300 square miles, serving over 1.5 million residents. At the conclusion of this year's development cycle, our estimated tentative work program for fiscal years 2027 through 2031 totals over $4.16 billion for District 3. Of the tentative work program, 71% of that is dedicated to actual product, 14.5% toward production support for such items as design, CEI, right-of-way, environmental, and 14.5% goes toward operations and maintenance. FDOT quarterly reports show a recent decrease in material costs for both new construction and resurfacing projects cost per mile. While some fluctuations remain, the overall pricing trends have improved, providing some relief compared to prior years. Lower asphalt and aggregate costs have been key contributors to this reduction. Despite the positive trends, challenges still exist with maintaining a reliable, skilled construction workforce. Wage pressures and workforce retention continue to affect project delivery timelines. Despite these challenges, we are pleased to report the district's tentative work program has maintained overall stability. FDOT continues to provide significant investments in the Capital Region's county's transportation infrastructure systems and focuses on partnerships within our communities in delivering the 5-year work program. For the CRTPA, the estimated tentative work program totals over $412.2 million. 81% of that is dedicated to actual product, 16% toward production support for such items as design, CEI, right-of-way, environmental, and 3% goes toward operations and maintenance. We'd now like to highlight some of the projects and begin with the Moving Forward project, followed by aviation, local programs, transportation alternatives, landscaping, resurfacing, bridges, safety, railroad crossing, traffic operations and ITS, rest areas, capacity, and the Sun Trail program. Moving forward. State Road 263, Capitol Circle from State Road 61, Crawford Road to County Road 2203, Spring Hill Road in Leon County. This is a multi-lane project. Will construct new roadways from 2 to 6 lanes and a 10-foot multi-use path, buffered bike lanes, sidewalks, and replace the existing bridge over Munson Slough, and replace the existing signal at State Road 61 intersection. The construction is funded in current year, 26, and the letting is occurring next month in December. The total investment of this project represents over $156 million. Next, we'd like to highlight a few aviation projects that were added into the tentative. Quincy Municipal Airport design and construction, fuel, apron rehab in Quincy Municipal Airport, environmental design, taxiland box hangar in Gaston County. These projects represent the design and construction for the fuel apron rehabilitation and environmental design of the taxiland and bridge hangar. This is a capital work grant funded in fiscal year 29. Tallahassee International Airport parking area improvements in Leon County. This project consists of parking improvements at the airport. This is a capital grant work funded in fiscal year 29. This is the CRTPA Tallahassee International Airport project priority number 3. Next, we'd like to highlight a few local programs projects. County Road 65 from Porter Mitchell Road to the Georgia State Line in Gaston County. This is a small county roadway assistance program, or SCOP, resurfacing project in north of the city of Quincy. Design is funded in fiscal year 27. County Road 259 from County Road 115-8B Rayham Road to State Road 57 US 19 in Jefferson County. This is a small county outreach program, or SCOP project, to widen and resurface existing lanes. Construction is funded in fiscal year 29. County Road 158, Old Lloyd Road, from the Jefferson County line to east of Lloyd Creek Road. This is Phase 1 in Jefferson County. This is a county incentive grant program, or SIGB project, to widen and resurface existing lanes. Design is funded in fiscal year 30. County Road 158, Old Lloyd Road, from State Road 8 I-10 to State Road 10 US 90 in Jefferson County. This is also a SIGP project, will widen and resurfacing existing lanes. Design is funded in fiscal year 30. Next, we'd like to highlight a transportation alternatives, or TA project. Highland Road from Buck Lake Road to State Road 10 US 90 Mayhem Drive in Leon County. This project will construct a 6-foot sidewalk at the east side of Highland Drive. Construction is funded in fiscal year 28. This is in partnership with the City of Tallahassee. Next, we'll highlight a few landscaping projects. State Road 263, Capitol Circle, from County Road 2203, Spring Hill Road, to State Road 371, Orange Avenue in Leon County. This project will add landscaping along the newly reconstructed capacity segment of Capitol Circle. Construction is funded in fiscal year 28. State Road 369, or US 319, from south of East Ivan Road to north of State Road 267 in Wakulla County. This project will add landscaping along the newly reconstructed segment of State Road 369. Construction is funded in fiscal year 27. Next, we'll highlight a few resurfacing projects that were added to the tentative. State Road 8 I-10 from the Gaston County line to west of Old Bainbridge Road in Leon County. Design is funded in fiscal year 27. Construction is funded in fiscal year 29. State Road 8 I-10 west of State Road 10 US 90 in Leon County to the Leon County line in Gaston County. Design is funded in fiscal year 27. Construction is funded in fiscal year 29. State Road 20, US 27, from west of State Road 57, US 19 to the Madison County line in Jefferson County. Design is funded in fiscal year 27. Construction is funded in fiscal year 29. State Road 10, US 90, from Bates Street to west of State Road 12 in Gaston County. Design is funded in fiscal year 27, and construction is funded in fiscal year 29. Now we'd like to highlight an additional bridge project. State Road 261, Capitol Circle Northeast to I-10, bridge number 550076 in Leon County. This is a bridge and rehabilitation project, will include the cleaning and painting of the superstructure. Construction is funded in fiscal year 27. Now I'd like to highlight a bridge project that was being advanced in the tentative. State Road 8, I-10 over Beaver Dam, bridge number 500085 in Gaston County. This project will replace the approach slabs on the east and west ends. Advanced construction from fiscal year 28 to fiscal year 27. Now I'd like to highlight a few safety projects in the tentative. Springwood Elementary School sidewalks in Leon County. This project is part of the Safe Routes to School program and will construct sidewalks along the North Settlers Boulevard and Fred George Road. Design is funded in fiscal year 29, and construction is funded in fiscal year 31. Hawks Rise Elementary School sidewalk projects in Leon County. This project is part of the Safe Routes to School program and will construct sidewalks along Heritage Ridge Road. Design is funded in fiscal year 29, and construction is funded in fiscal year 31. A railway crossing project next to be highlighted is State Road 59, Gamble Road, over Lloyd Railroad Crossing number 625569W in Jefferson County. This project will replace the existing panel crossing with a new tube crossing. Construction is funded in fiscal year 27. We'd now like to highlight traffic operations ITS projects. State Road 363, Woodville Highway at County Road 2192, Natural Bridge Road in Leon County. This project will construct a traffic safe signal and a northbound left turn lane. The traffic signal will be installed this year in fiscal year 26, and the remaining project is construction is funded in fiscal year 28. State Road 61, US 27, Monroe Street at Park Avenue in Leon County. This is a mast arm replacement project. Construction is funded in fiscal year 27. We'd now like to highlight some rest area additions to the tentative. State Road 8, I-10, Gaston County rest area truck parking in Gaston County. This project will add additional truck parking facilities. Design is funded in fiscal year 29. State Road 8, I-10, Jefferson County rest area, truck parking, eastbound rest area in Jefferson County. This project will also add truck parking facilities at the eastbound rest area. Design is funded in fiscal year 28, and construction is funded in fiscal year 30. State Road 8, I-10, Leon County rest areas, eastbound truck parking in Leon County. This project will add truck parking facilities at the eastbound rest areas. Construction is funded in fiscal year 31. We'd now like to highlight a capacity project added to the tentative work program. State Road 369, US 319, from south of L. Wallace Road to south of State Road 61 intersection in Leon County. This is a multi-lane project will reconstruct a roadway from 2 to 4 lanes. Construction is funded in fiscal year 28. The total investment in this project is over $18 million. This is the CRTPA's roadway and capacity priority project number 4. Next, we'd like to highlight a few Central projects were added to tentative. State Road 10, US 90, from Crump Road to Veterans Memorial Drive in Leon County. This project will design a shared use path east of Tallahassee. Design is funded through the Sun Trails program. Design is funded in fiscal year 29. This is the CRTPA's Regional Trails Project Priority number 2. State Road 10, US 90, from Veterans Memorial Drive to Jefferson County line in Leon County. This project will design a shared use path east of Tallahassee. Design is funded through the Sun Trails program. Design is funded in fiscal year '29. This is the CRTPA's Regional Trails Priority Project Number 2. State Road 267, Boxham Cutoff from Wakulla Springs Park to St. Mark's Trail in Wakulla County. This project will construct a new paved shared use trail as part of the Sun Trails program. Construction is funded in fiscal year '31. This is the CRTPA's Regional Trails Project Priority Number 1. We encourage you to visit the Tentative Work Program webpage at the address listed on the screen to review information related to the development of the Tentative Work Program. Links to the work program documents and an interactive project map viewer are provided under the Quick Links section located at the right-hand side of the public hearing webpage. Thank you. I'll be glad to take any questions at this time.
Any questions, board?
Second.
Thank,
Actually, this wasn't up for approval.
thank you for the
Thank you. Thank you for your
thorough
partnership.
presentation.
Just for information.
Yes, sir.
And let me just say this, it concerns me that in this work plan, we have all of our counties represented, but we don't have representation here to get this information, I guess, and take it back, maybe let folks know what's happening in their town. We don't have Jefferson County representation. We have Gretna, so you bearing the brunt for Gadsden County.
Yes.
You got Wakulla, so we're missing a folk or two. So, Ms. Wakulla, could you?
Ms. Wakulla has a question.
Commissioner Quincy.
That was, Carla, may I go back to this is funny that you and I are usually together on things. Can we go back to the screen with the bike trails for Jefferson?
And we didn't have any for Jefferson. That one just goes out to the Jefferson County line at Lake McKinney.
Okay.
Here? Or for the,
Yep, that's
yes, ma'am?
exactly the one I wanted to see. I wanted to make sure my eyes were not fooling me, and they still are not.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We, as, you know, the Jefferson County Commission decided they didn't want it, so we haven't put any
But I wanted to
resources into
make sure
that.
my eyes still weren't fooling me.
So, thank you. And we just want to make sure that we have representation. Commissioner Minor?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to thank Ms. Hodges for that presentation. I was going to make a joke and say, could you run through that one more time? But I wouldn't want you to have that seen as belittling the incredible amount of work that you're doing. So I think I can speak for folks here in saying that we're very grateful for all the work that you all are doing.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you for the presentation and also with the Secretary for joining us. So thank you very much for all the work. We have citizens that will be very grateful for these projects.
Thank you, sir. It is a team effort and a partnership, and we are grateful for the CRTPAs.
Absolutely. And if Miss Eleanor, you saw that this is kind of where we are, what we're doing, what's going on. I think if staff makes sure she has a copy of this work plan, so that she can also also visit the website to get this information. So that's good. All right. Any other discussion, board? All right. All right, moving forward, we're going to move on to the election of our chair and vice chair. It has been my plum-pleasing pleasure to have served as chair this past year, but the time has come to say goodbye. So, all this responsibility. I want to thank.
Set it down.
I want to set it down. I'm going to go and join you over in the corner. I want to thank Greg for being a great executive director. His staff, they're just bar none, extraordinarily kind and gentle with me to make me focus. Yolanda, make me focus. Thornton, to make sure I follow the law and follow the rules. Thank y'all, because I've been prone to stray. But with you all, I'm just glad to have been able to do my term. We will be passing the gavel to the vice chair, who is no stranger to this. He's the dean of the CRTPA. Yes, I've just coined that new phrase for you, Commissioner Nick Maddox. But he's going to need a vice chair. And in the rotation of things, the rotation, as I understand it, normally goes to a smaller county or city or Gadsden, Wakulla, or Jefferson, right? So I'm looking,
Wakulla's been there.
I'm looking over here at somebody who came to the meeting today
That's what I'm looking at.
from Gadsden County.
That's what I'm
Madam Chair,
looking at.
if I could real quick, though, we do need first for the chair, we need a nomination and a second.
Okay.
And then roll.
We want to go ahead and soften her up and get her ready. Know that it's coming your way. See, that's why Commissioner Richards sitting over there, so he can pat you on the back and let you know it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Hey, don't worry. As vice chair, you'll be even closer to get a gist.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be, the dean is gonna mentor you. He's gonna mentor you. Okay,
Madam
Mr.
Chair,
Minor.
I would move to nominate Vice Chair Maddox as our new chair.
Second.
okay, it's been properly moved and second that Commissioner Nick Maddox has been nominated to be our chair. Commissioner Richardson.
I was going to do the nomination. Right.
Oh, okay, all right. All right, we're gonna go ahead and vote Commissioner Maddox on in. Can we do this by unanimous consent?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, so moved, so done. Congratulations. All right, it's been properly moved and second that Commissioner Goldwire be made vice chair. Can we do this by unanimous consent, Commissioner Goldwire? All right, well, you could be chair of the city commission, but that would be more difficult. I was just saying that would be more difficult. But we're gonna take real good care of you, real good care of you. Okay, all in favor? Well, we did by unanimous consent. So congratulations, Vice Chair Goldwire, Riley Goldwire, and to our chairman, Commissioner Nick Maddox. All right, let's give them a round of applause. A hand of support. That's what we're going to call that. All right. Next, we will move into our Florida Department of Transportation report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think you guys have heard enough from the Florida DOT for a single meeting, but
If you got some more money, we want to hear about
if
it.
there are any questions, I'll be glad to attempt to address them.
Hey, board, we have any questions? All right. Hearing none. Thank you, Brian. Now we'll go on to our Executive Director.
Just a couple of things. After Commissioner Maddox's eloquent response to the young lady on the questions, I believe for next year, staff won't bother showing up to the meetings, so we'll just let Commissioner Maddox
dean.
take care of it and run with it. But I did want to thank, and I forgot to do this during the RMP, I did want to thank Jack. Jack supposedly has managed his last long-range plan, but we'll see. And thank Franco and his team as well. It was a pleasure working with you guys. We would have liked to seen a lot more come out of it, but that's what we've been. But that's why we update them every 5 years. You will not have a meeting next month. There is one on the calendar. We always have one scheduled just in case, but I think for the last few years we have not needed it. So everyone have a happy holiday, and we'll see you in January. We have anything? Anybody have anything? Oh, Suzanne's always got something.
Yes, I do. I'd like to say that we had a successful helmet fitting event. We had FSU, Tallahassee, and the Sheriff's Office, all three law enforcement participated, as well as the FSU Sustainability Department. So there were 11 more certified helmet fitters after that event. And also, I would like to recognize that Gadsden County's project manager from their transportation area has been attending the meetings regularly. So we do have a conduit of information going back to Gadsden County. Yes. So thank you very much, and thank you for this opportunity.
All right, thank you. I'm always wanting to make sure that Gadsden County, Wakulla, and Jefferson get the word that we're working together in our region. Right. All right. Yes, sir.
Just,
Turn it on.
I think you made a point earlier, Madam Chair, about Gaston and Jefferson. And I appreciate Commissioner Messersmith's commitment to coming all the way from Wakulla to be here for these meetings, as I think they're very important. I was wondering, my executive director, have we reached out to those counties to see what would make it easier? What can we do? Because to the point of the young lady earlier, these are long-range plans that we're making. And I don't live in Gaston County. I don't live in Jefferson County. And I trust staff is making best decisions they can on those counties' behalves, but those counties need to have a say, need to be able to speak in this setting, because I tell you what, if Commissioner probably Goldwater said to me that she didn't quite think we were moving in the right direction on a project in Gaston County that came before this board, I'd give it a second thought. But if nobody's here to give that kind of information, even when Commissioner Messerschmidt spoke up and asked that question about Jefferson, my ears perked up a little bit to see was she just getting clarification or speaking in dissent. So have we had a conversation to see what would?
I have not with Jefferson County. I know since Commissioner Neesmith left about a year and a half ago, there was one appointee who we could not get in touch with, and the second appointee have not been able to get in contact with that. But I will definitely make another run at it to see if we can get some response back.
I appreciate it. And again, I think we as a board have to be open to whatever recommendations or suggestions come from the outlying counties on what we may have to do to get better. I know I'm totally open to it, and I think my colleagues would be too, even virtual or rotation. I don't know what it is, but I would love to see those counties be represented, the majority of the meetings that we have in the county. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right. Oh, Commissioner O'Keefe.
Thank you. I kind of was just going to piggyback on that. You touched on a lot of it. For anyone who's just listening, I just want to make sure, for a point of information, those counties have seats. This is not a structural thing with CRTPA. We're talking about making sure we make it easy for their representatives to be here so we can hear from them.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The seats are here. They're warm seats. They're waiting for them.
Is yours still warm?
It's still, yeah, it's warm for a few more seconds.
All right, I just want to make sure. I had a very, may I?
Yes.
I had a very bizarre question to ask staff or the dean or whomever else on this board. Have we ever done a little bit of a, travel around to the different areas for the CRTPA?
We actually were having that conversation to do the retreat, but with session coming up, we decided to keep it here in town. We can do that. It's been a long time.
No, it's fine. I mean, we're outnumbered. We've already had it pointed out,
I
right?
think the concern is always getting everybody to a more remote location as opposed to a centralized location. But if you like, we can certainly take a
No,
look at it.
I'm good. I was just.
Okay. Yeah, I think the last one we actually did was right before I got here. That was at WEI.
I'd say I'd be willing to travel if we're going to do rotations.
I was actually thinking about the east and the west a little bit more but we'll get it figured out.
Sorry, Madam Chair. Maybe it's just a survey or just a question. Of course, as Leon County and City of Tallahassee folks, we're going to be here. But it's just right here. But to ask those outlying counties what would be most preferable for them to feel they can get to attend. Because even if we go to Gaston, we're driving you across Leon to get there. I understand that.
No, we're not.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm
You can
fine.
take the back road.
I'm going the back road. I'm going the back road to all my neighboring counties.
Okay, cool.
Figured all
Probably
that
fly
out.
anyway.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Gotcha,
Quincy has an airport. We could all fly in.
That'd be perfect.
So if we could just
fly from
maybe
my
kind of
airport to yours.
work it out. Yep. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. All right. I believe that's it. We've already talked about the future meeting dates. Are there any other committee actions needed? Any budget utilizations? Okay, items from board. I think we just did that. Any more items from board members?
Just want to say nice
Commissioner
job,
Minor?
Madam Chair.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Got it. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Having heard that and said it all and done it all, happy holidays to each and every one of you. Please be safe on our roads and our airways and on our trains to come.
Soon.
Meeting adjourned.